It was September 3rd, 1939, following the declaration of World War II, when 16-year-old Ray Griffiths would enlist in the Royal Air Force.
I went into town and joined. I was really happy, a happy boy. Death never meant a thing because it never occurred to me.
He didn't tell his parents at the time, and when they found out, they weren't happy.
Very disgusted, but people must understand there's always a part of life that a person needs to go forth.
Ray's goal was to be an air gunner on one of the RAF's Wellington bombers, a common dream for many young men at the time, so he would have to wait. In the meantime, he was given three choices:
peeling potatoes, cleaning toilets, or go in the fire department, so I took the fire department.
After 2 years, Griffiths was finally on the verge of starting his air gunner training when an explosion at a downed aircraft would change everything. Ray was thrown through the air, sustaining a neck injury which would ultimately end his dream of flying.
I would never be able to fly on missions at all.
Griffiths would remain with the fire department for the next year before eventually making his way to Penhold, Alberta, and spending the remainder of his military career teaching Morse code and working in the airfield watchtower. Of his many war memories, Griffiths recalls the friendships he made, in particular with the Australians, who played cricket beside the runway, much to the dismay of Group Captain Huey Edwards.
The cricket wickets were always up, and he didn't want that because he figured it was dangerous, both for them and the planes that were landing. But the Australians said, hey, we'll do what we want and you do what you want.
After marrying a Canadian, Griffiths would return to England. However, his heart remained in the Canadian Rockies, so in July of 1948, he would return for good.
As a young fellow, I told all my family, my mother, dad, grandparents, that was where I was going to live, and that's where I came back.
Every November 11th, Griffiths proudly wears his veteran's uniform, but doesn't believe in showing off his war medals. This is due to his darker experiences during the war, like meeting German prisoners and attending the aftermath of the well-known Coventry bombing.
They blew Coventry to pieces, but I saw little children looking for their mothers and fathers. And when we found some of them, they were dead, and yet the kids were still alive. That's when my whole life turned round.
So, without his medals, he proudly honours those past and present.
I owe a lot of respect to everyone that lost their lives in every battle. If there was a day for each of the armed forces, I would be there.
For Go Kootenays in Cranbrook, I'm James Farnan.